Do you want to hear a secret to how you can be successful no matter what you do? Hi, my name is Bethel, and I'm an empowerment coach assisting people to live a life of bliss and freedom. I share practical tips that you can apply to your life to achieve the life of passion and desire that you've always wanted and deserve. And if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell so you never miss a juicy tip. Long time ago, there was a band that the night before they were to make their world renowned name for themselves, the band got together and kicked out the lead guitarist. The lead guitarist, rightfully so, was very angry, went home, and was determined that he would start his own band and be more successful than the band he just got kicked out of. The band that kicked him out, you may have heard of it, even if you don't listen to this kind of music, like me, because I don't. It's Metallica. Metallica is a world-known rock star band. It is worth about $128 million. They have multiple platinum and gold records. They are well known worldwide, toured, and are considered to be incredibly successful. The guitarist that they kicked out, his name was Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine went on to create a band called Megadeth. Once again, not listening to rock metal, you've heard of Megadeth. Megadeth is also considered an incredibly successful band. Dave is worth about $14 million. He has multiple successful records. He has toured the world. He has lived life like nobody else has known before. And yet, many years ago, when a reporter asked how he felt about being kicked out of Metallica, with tears in his eyes, Dave said he felt like a failure. Now, I don't know about you, being worth $14 million, known worldwide by people who don't even listen to your music, being considered an influential guitarist of your time, even being a contributor to 6 of Metallica's best known songs, Dave felt like he was a failure. Why do you think that is? Well, we're going to pause on that for just a minute, and I'm going to share another story with you about another band that happened a long time ago. This band, once again, about a year before they hit it off and became successful, got together and decided to kick out their drummist. The drummer went home incredibly sad, incredibly depressed, suicidal, and never fully got a band, even though he tried, off and going again. For 20 years, he didn't plan on playing a band. He worked as a civil servant. He got married, had wonderful children, and he was interviewed. And in an interview, he was asked a very simple question. But before we talk about that interview, maybe I should tell you what band I'm talking about and who the drummer was. The drummer is known as Pete Best. The band is known as the Beatles. Once again, a well-known band, right before they got their big break, kicked out one of their band members. In this interview, though, with Pete, the reporter asked him how he felt about being kicked out of such an influential band. Pete's answer was very different than Dave's answer. He said, I feel successful. I'm at peace with it. Because I was not in the Beatles, I got to live a life like I probably would not have gotten to with the Beatles. I have a beautiful wife. I have lovely children. And I have gotten to experience the world. I feel like I've been a successful person. And I'm a very happy individual. Pete is worth only about $600,000. and he is considered very successful. And unless you're a Beatle guru and you love to know all the Beatle fun facts, you may have never heard of someone named Pete Best. Many, many, many years later, at a Beatles reunion, Pete did get to drum with the Beatles once again. The Beatles did give him some of the royalty checks since he did contribute to their success. However, Pete was never really a world-renowned success like the Beatles. But Pete sees himself as successful. Why does Pete, who is maybe more average like you and I, see himself successful, but someone like Dave Mustaine, who is by anybody's terms may consider incredibly successful, but yet doesn't see himself successful? Why do you think that is? Well, Dave decided to say his success would be if he was more successful than Metallica. And he isn't. He's only worth about, I don't know, a quarter of what Metallica is worth. He never achieved the standard that he set on himself for what success looked like. Where Pete, after he tried to kill himself, he was able to become very clear on what he wanted to be and who he wanted to be and how he was going to live a happy life. And because his standards of success were met, he considers himself incredibly successful. So, the moral of the story, my friends, if you want to be successful no matter what, change the stories you're telling yourself. If you say the only way I can be successful is if I'm better than you, my friend, you may never be successful. But if you say success is a wonderful spouse, beautiful children, a decent job, and having fun and living life, then you will be successful. It all depends on the story you tell yourself. We saw that example in Pete and in Dave. Pete sees himself as a success. Dave sees himself as a failure. And I would say that neither one of them are failures at all. But you can only mark your level of success by how you feel inside. So change those stories. Make yourself have achievable success goals. Of course, push yourself. Always want to be the best you. But if for some reason you aren't the best you, take a step back and go, but am I still pretty awesome? If Dave could ever look at himself the way you and I might look at him, he could see that he was very successful. And who knows, maybe since that interview, people came at him and shared this tip with him, and he now sees himself as a success. I don't know. But I do know that if you change the stories you tell yourself, you can be successful no matter what. You get to decide the level of success you experience. You get to decide the stories that make you want to fly. Yes, I'm doing life awesome. Or I'm not good enough. I'll never be successful. Nobody will ever love me. It's up to you, my friends. Change the stories you're telling yourself and live a successful life of bliss and joy, passion, and freedom. And I will see you on the next tip. Namaste.